Yo, what's poppin' everybody? This is Sid Rule Finder 4. Gonna show you guys a new deck profile today, and it's gonna be this Sableye V deck. So I showed this deck in Expanded. I tried a bunch of versions with it, the standard, Weezing, Galarian Zigzagoon and stuff. I favored the Crobat version, like using the old school Phantom Forces Crobats with it. But no matter what you try, there's some inconsistencies and there's problems in Expanded. I was hesitant to use it in Standard. I didn't want to use it. It's pretty much because we didn't have Dark Patch, that's it. This deck, even though 2 energy costs for Crazy Claws isn't so bad, it's just 2 energies. It is a bit slow when you're trying to get a one-hit knockout every turn. Like you're trying to get a big knockout, you're trying to do good heavy damage. Because this guy with 170 HP, he's going to die in one shot most of the time against the other V and VMAX Pokemon. But now we got this, the Turbo Patch. So it's so funny, so ironic. This card, like I've opened up like 80 something Darkness Ablaze packs. I couldn't get a single one, and I'm thinking to myself, is this card even here? And then I got a few, like opened up 3 or 4, and then I got like a freaking playset. Like I got three of these, and then I got another one later on. So crazy. But anyway, finally got this card. This is actually inferior to Dark Patch in this particular case, but obviously this can power up all sorts of Pokemon, not just Dark Pokemon. But we don't have Dark Patch in Standard, and this is the next best thing to power up the Sableye, help us get that second energy attachment. So this is what the deck is going to be about. The standard partners you'd expect to see, the Galarian Zigzagoons, Weezing and what have you. But as usual, I have a little bit of a different twist than maybe everybody else. So you have to run a 3 Sableye V. This is the main attacker of the deck. Crazy Claws is an insane attack if your opponent has enough damage counters on them. Like if you just have 3 damage counters is 190. That's so good, man. It's so good. If they have 4, then it's just pretty much KOing almost any Pokemon. You're doing 250 pretty much for 2 energies. And then from 5 and beyond, everybody dies, no exception. Like, it's crazy. So, Load Search is also a very good attack. Can't forget about this one. It's the sort of a throwback to the Dark Explorer Sableye. Grab items. This card can grab any trainer, so it's good. I thought about trying to implement like the crushing hammers and stuff, cards like that, so you can sort of turn it into a control deck, you could say. You could do something like that too with this guy, but there's just not a lot of space, man. There's not a lot of space. We're already like really tight with the cards we need to include here. But anyway, 3 of this guy should be good enough. 170 HP is really low. Double retreat is kind of sucks too, but it is what it is. Okay, his partner in crime is going to be this Galarian Zigzagoon, a pretty popular Pokemon ever since it came out in the first set because of Headbutt Tantrum. You play this down, you can place a damage counter on a Pokemon, just like the old Crobat G. Can't believe I'm even talking about that card. But it's essentially what it does. Thanks to the Scoop Up Net, you can reuse this effect, place damage counters around, and it just pairs up well with this guy's attack. Standard stuff. The other dude is going to be this Weezing with Blow Away Bomb. This is basically, you discard this with Roxy, you spread damage counters on every of your opponent's Pokemon, all of your opponent's Pokemon. It's the sort of D-draw thing. It's like Pokemon is just now catching up with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics. But yeah, you discard this dude, you draw a lot of cards with the Roxy, you spread damage counters. Obviously, we run it in this deck. This card, of course, the combo with Roxy is so good, but it's always problematic trying to include this card in Stage 1, Stage 2 decks. You brick, you become very inconsistent. But since we're only running basic Pokemon besides this dude, it should work out. Now, in this deck, I'm also running the Emolga, 3 of this. Just 3, not 4, because we're really tight with space, like I've said. But the point of Emolga is to search another Emolga and just help us dig with Roxy, like discard an Emolga, discard one of this. You're not always going to have 2. and then you draw more cards. You know, it's deck thinning, it's deck searching. You know, you're searching these cards from your deck to your hand. It's almost like you're drawing cards in a way. You can get rid of this, use a quick ball, use some other cards. There's all sorts of things you can do. It's a free retreating Pokemon, so you're gonna love opening with this. So you can then put Jirachi, search that with quick ball. We do need to run Jirachi in this version. I feel like just 2 Jirachi. The reason is that, well, the combo between Switch and Scoop Up Net is just too good to pass up, and it just makes this deck a lot more consistent. You can burn through your Scoop Up Nets and Switches by making plays like that, but in the beginning, like if you do this to get the necessary cards you need, like grab these guys together, grab the Roxy and use them, or if you play first, I guess have them for the next turn. There's just so many things you can do. Promote this when a Pokemon dies, you get an extra search. This deck really appreciates Stellar Wish, so we're gonna run it. I just have 2, but it's fine with 2. I don't know if I would put more than 2, because, like I've said, tight with space, and we can just open it with a Molga and then search the Jirachi out with a quick ball. It's not like I need 15 Jirachis in this deck. So yeah, and these are all the Pokemon basically. Oh, how can I forget? The special trick that I'm using here, it's the Eldegoss V. So 2 of them, not even 1. So there's no Dedenne GX, as you guys can see. It seems a bit risky not running the Dedenne, because obviously if you have a bad start, if you open up bad, you can just use the Dedenne, search the Dedenne, and draw cards. But the thing is that this deck, you want to build up hand. You draw a lot of straight cards with Roxy and some of the other cards we have here. And, you know, Dedenne really conflicts with that strategy. I am running 1 Magnolia, and I really don't want to go more than that. Don't really want to have too many dump and draw supporters, heavy duty dump and draw cards. And that's what Dedenne does. So I decided not to run it. This is why Jirachi is in here, sort of as a replacement. It's just you either use the Dedenne, you know, Crobat V, those sorts of give 2 prizes, heavy, strong ability Pokemon that let you draw cards, or you use an engine like Jirachi. It's pretty much one way or the other. Some people use all of them, but since we're running Jirachi, since we're running a bunch of other cards, this deck is only mostly basics. I feel like I can get away with not having the Dedenne, and having the double Eldegoss V is very important, because once we do use the Roxy, then if I have this, I can just play it down and grab it back, just like we did with the Welder, and you don't have to worry about searching the Roxy. There isn't really any way to search it. If we had Tapu Lele GX, this deck would have been really good, would have made it much better, but we have only Eldegoss, so this is the next best thing. So once I use one, search one with Jirachi, make a play, then I can just use this to grab him back. It's more useful than you might think. Plus, just getting supporters, getting boss's orders, getting any supporter, you know, via Seeker style is good. So this is why Eldegoss V is in here. Lets me make plays, versatile card. Okay. So now we talked about all of the Pokemon. Trainers should be very standard. Max out the quick ball, get the basic Pokemon you need. I have a little bit of energy searching. The energy spinner, good card, get an energy. Don't want to miss energy attachments in this deck. It's all you got. You got your manual energy attachment, and you got Turbo Patch. So if you miss those, man, it's not going to be very good. Even if you spare all the damage counters, if this guy can't attack, or if he attacks, then he dies, then you don't have another dude ready. You know, you open yourself up for your opponent to use boss's orders, pick on the other ones. You know, it's not a pretty sight. You know, they just need to kill 3 of these dudes, 3 2-prize Pokemon, and then they win. So against fast matchups, you can't afford to fuck up. So yeah, energy spinner is going to help us with that. I am running double evolution and sense. This is just to search out the Weezings. It would have been nice if I could search something else, but not really. I don't really favor the ups the goons, running rare candies, getting those dudes out. You can spread 3 more, and it really will go a long way. But I feel like if you're going to run those, you have to drop these, and you have to build the deck differently. If you try to include everything, the deck will not be consistent no matter what. And I don't care what anybody says. People try to use it in all sorts of ways, but you can't have it both ways. The more text you include, the more ways, power cards you include to build up spread, the more consistency you lose. There's just no way to go about it. You will have to drop cards to include the rare candies and the obstagoons. And those cards, they don't help you early. So that's the point. But anyway, it's what we got. Should be good enough for Weezing. Got double Judge Whistle, just to draw some extra cards. Once again, deck drawing, deck thinning. Why not? I'm pretty sure, yeah, I don't have any stadiums in this deck. So far, I've been good, but I wouldn't mind having like a Chaotic Swell or something like the Darkness Prism card. I don't have that. So maybe if you really want, you can drop these since they're basically, miscellaneous cards that just help the consistency. And you can put the Darkness Prism Stadium. Maybe you can put Dark City, Chaotic Swell, just something. But for now, I have it like this. I'm going to show you matches with the deck like this, so we're not going to make any changes. But yeah, fair to mention that I don't have any stadiums. It would be good to have them, just for countering other stadiums. It's not like we really need specific stadiums. But yeah, basic recovery, one ordinary rod, poker gear to help us see the Roxy, another way, I guess. Grab supporters. I don't have too many in this deck, but this could help. We got the turbo patch, like I've said, just 3, but it's a method to help us get that extra attachment on the Sableye if we get lucky. I don't really like coin flip attacks like these, and I've lost games sort of relying on this in other decks too. Like I've tried other decks using turbo patch, like Flycon GX. I thought I was going to show you guys a bunch of stuff. I might show you guys that deck still, but it's good when it works, of course. But if it doesn't, then it's sad. And sometimes you need it to work for you to make a play, like you're really banking on it. But we're running 3 and running one of the tool scrappers. I guess this could be you could replace this for a stadium if you want, but I decided 1 is good because against some of those metal decks that like to put down that metal goggles thing, or they don't have the frying pan anymore, it can get somewhat annoying, mess up with your damage. So, this can help against those, I suppose. It's tool scrapper. Normally I'd run 2 in decks, but we only have space for 1. Okay. And now for our sort of combo switching outlets, scoop up outlets. You got this broken card right here. You got to run a playset and double switch. So obviously, the more of the switches and the scoop up nets you have, the more room you have to switch around, reuse Jirachi a bunch of times if you want to burn your scoop up nets and what have you, but we can't afford to do that all the time. You will do this in the beginning if you don't have many other options, but obviously you run this at 4 for this dude. It's just a great combo, but switch, I just couldn't go more than 2. So you need to sort of use it wisely, or just make sure you use it and you really take advantage of it, like with Jirachi or something. You don't just use it for a shitty play. Okay. And that's basically it for the items. Supporters should be pretty standard. Obviously, you max out the Roxy. The whole point of this deck is trying to exploit this card with Weezing. Spread a lot of damage that way. And Mulga is going to help us ditch a bunch of Pokemon. You do have like 18. Like once you have your dudes ready and like you're drawing cards, you're seeing the stuff you need, you have Sableye and you're attacking, it's not like you're going to be using Jirachi a lot unless something dies. So if you have 1 Jirachi on the bench, I wouldn't recommend playing another one if you're not doing plays with Scoop Up Net in the beginning. So then this, sometimes you might discard the second one, and Mulgas, Weezings. Sometimes you even have to discard one of this guy to draw extra cards. So yeah, but it is what it is. gotta run the Roxy. And then it's basically one of each of the other supporters, minus the Skyla. One Boss's Orders, one Erica, one Marnie. I actually thought, I thought I had two of these, but it does conflict with what we're trying to do. Like when you're trying to like draw cards, see the combo pieces. Like this guy, he doesn't work on his own. He needs Roxy. And Roxy doesn't really do much on her own. Like she needs Pokemon, she needs this guy especially. So using Marnie, shuffling your whole deck, your whole hand in your deck, drawing 5, and then you don't get what you need. You get, okay, I got the Weezing but no Roxy, I got this but I don't have that. Doesn't help. It's good when you're trying to disrupt the opponent, but it doesn't help you in that regard. And I guess if we need to reuse it, there's always Eldegoss V. But yeah, one research, this could be handy sometimes when you do need to draw a lot of cards. And the double Skyla, so because I not really, like I've said, you build up a hand and you don't really want to shuffle and draw. This isn't good when you have a big hand too. If you're not going to use Roxy, you can use Skyla and get something very specific, like a Turbo Patch, like an Incense, maybe a Scoop Up Net, a Switch. So she's good, Skyla, of course. So we're running her. And you know, if everything else fails, I mean, I guess if you're being too slow, you can grab the Roxy for the next turn and what have you. And then the last thing is just 11 Darkness Energies. Not too many, but not too few. Discard a few maybe for the Turbo Patch, and then you want to get your manual attachment every turn. And this is basically the deck, guys. It can be really explosive when it works. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's just basic Pokemon, so you do have the... you know, you are able to go off super fast when you're using the Jirachis, you're using this, you're getting your Roxys off and what have you. You're not trying to evolve Pokemon, you're not trying to do, you know, really fancy stuff. These guys, you just play them down and you get their effects. So spread the damage counters, and this guy's gonna kill dudes. So obviously this deck, you know, does have a lot of advantages. But I feel like it really shines against slower decks, like the decks that need a little bit to set up themselves. You can really just take advantage of that because, you know, it means you're setting up the Crazy Claws attack more efficiently, you know, manually attaching the Darkness Energies, and then you're ready to go. And if you have like 2 of these guys ready to go, your opponent can't really do much if you're spreading the damage right. Okay. So, I guess matchups, I mean, this guy is weak to grass, but he dies in one shot anyway, so it doesn't matter. Stuff that you hit that are weak to dark, actually, I can't really think much, just like I've said with the Weavile GX deck. I mean, it's mostly these cards are good, it's not necessarily because they're hidden for weakness. I don't know, like Dusknor Trevenant Tag Team GX. Who uses that now? Anyway, but you know, you do have some good matchups against Tag Team GX Pokemon. You know, you place a bunch of damage counters, this guy can kill them in one shot. They're not going to appreciate that. It just depends on what your opponent is using. If they play a lot of Pokemon down, and you can really take advantage of this Weezing, you spread damage on all of them. If they don't, then you only have a few targets you can pick on. But it's just the nature of the deck. So I actually can't really think of matchups. I mean, this guy has low HP, so the weakness doesn't matter too much. Like I've said, you don't really hit anything for weakness yourself. He just really appreciates the slower decks. The faster decks, you're not going to be really good against them. I think maybe something like Map Party, that's not going to be very good because they have... I mean, I guess if you do your spread right, you can get a bunch of easy KOs on the small dudes. But then, if they're killing your guy in one shot, and you're only getting one prize when you use Sableye against them, it's not going to be that pretty. So maybe it's 50-50. Not sure. Okay. So this is the deck. I'm going to show you guys matches. I think I've talked long enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Share this deck profile with your friends if they're interested in building Sableye in Standard. and I'll see you on the matches as always. So thank you guys for watching. Sableye 4. Weezing!